This Todd.
Old man Todd.
What up, Curtis?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. Just got done with work. Headed to go pick up some checks for my side stuff, and then headed home to get some more work done.
You out there checking your traps, man, picking up checks?
Yeah.
All right, so
Damn busy.
Yeah, so we episode 8, Todd, man. It's episode 8 of the Spartan Dawg Podcast. I don't know if you heard any of them. Had you had the chance to hear any or not?
Yeah, I listened to a few of them actually.
Okay, how we doing, man? We doing okay?
Yeah, I like it.
All right, we
Myron and let's see, Ike and Sean's.
Okay, yeah. The strategy is I'm getting you on so you can go back and get me some of them old dudes, man. I know you talked to a whole bunch of people, so you gonna be the bridgeway.
All right, that'll work.
All right, so cool, man. And you kind of got an idea how the format is, man. So first and foremost, I'm on the phone with Todd Murray, DB extraordinaire from Minneapolis, right? Or Minnesota?
Yeah, Bloomington. Yeah, Bloomington, Minnesota.
All right, so Todd, where you at these days, man? Where you living at now?
I'm down in Mesa, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix, suburb, east side of Mesa.
Man, that's a long way from Michigan and Minnesota. How'd you end up there?
Well, yeah, so that's a long story too. We got right out of college, went down to Detroit, did some work for Mark Nichols at his mortgage company. Ended up doing really well there. Started opened up a branch office for him down there. Did that for basically about a year, really, and decided I needed to get out of Detroit. Just looking at the way everything was down there. Took advantage of the refi market at the time and made a bunch of money, and then decided to go back to Minnesota. Got a job at Tenant Company as a warranty administrator. Managing $1 million budget or so, and did that for 3 years. Planned a business trip down to Arizona. Came down here, checked out some friends, and had a great time. Went back to Minnesota and put in my 2-week notice. And a month from visiting out here, ended up moving out here.
So what did you like about Arizona? I mean, it's like in my mind, it seems like a major opposite from Minnesota. So what are some of the similarities and what's some of the differences, man? What drew you to Arizona?
Well, with Arizona was climate. Obviously, that's a big one coming from Minnesota. I did my trip in the kind of in January timeframe, January, February. So it was cold, snowy. Came out here with shorts and T-shirts. So, I was like, all right, that's a big feather. But then just, the nightlife, the young people looking to do stuff, the entrepreneurial fever and, the Silicon, outside of Silicon Valley, but like Silicon Valley kind of thing. And growth, just a lot of growth potential, that kind of stuff. That's what attracted me to get out here to Arizona.
Yeah. Anything similar to Minnesota?
Well, other than a lot of people from Minnesota are out here.
Really?
They vacation here a lot. So you get a lot of transplant Minnesotans out here. They keep their house up in Minnesota and then they come down here with snowbirds, we call them. They'll come down here, get a second home and that kind of thing. So, so you do get a lot of the Minnesota people out here.
It's funny you say that because you're the only person from Minnesota I ever met. I don't know if a whole bunch of people ever met a bunch of people from Minnesota, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Not a lot go to Atlanta. I know that.
Okay. All right. So now, your wife, Kim, right? That's your wife's name?
Yeah, Kim. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, where'd you and Kim meet, and how long have y'all been married?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Shoot, me, Big Willie Hill, and Big Bill Johnson. We was all three out, just relaxing, really, having a couple of beverages.
In Arizona?
Yeah, in Arizona.
Okay.
and this place, Uncle Bear's. She was there with one of her girlfriends. We sat, we talked. You know, we were about to go, me and Bill and Big Will. And she was like, well, hey, here's my card. Give me a holler, you know, sometime. She was vice president of a commercial real estate company at the time. And, you know, so we eventually spoke and had dinner, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
So how long have y'all been married now?
We've been married 9 years and together for like 11. Okay,
and then you guys got, is it 2 boys and a girl, or?
Yeah. So my oldest is Maylee. She's 11. And then my
well, you got to give me a little rundown on what the kid's into. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you're right. So Maylee, so she just started 6th grade yesterday.
Okay.
She does volleyball. I just had her in a basketball camp last week, so she's checking that out to see what she thinks about that. Then she's done chess. She went to state a couple of years at chess through her school. She does her musical. She plays the violin. She was in karate. So trying to just give her kind of a roundabout, a little bit exposure to a lot of different things, so that when she gets a little bit older, she can choose, you know, what she wants to focus on, that kind of thing. But just,
right.
You know, give her all kinds of experiences. So that's Maylee. Great student, you know. I think most Spartan dogs will say their kids are great students. We kind of, I think that's something in us. We strive to make sure that they do that. We know the benefit of getting a higher education and everything.
Yeah, I think all of us barely got in, so we really on our kids.
Well, yeah. We saw what the other side could do, so it was like, oh, you know what? So yeah, so that's Maylee, and then my oldest boy Devin. He just started 3rd grade yesterday. He loves basketball. He did soccer. He did the karate, those kind of things. And it's not doing too much. He hasn't done anything really with school yet because of his grade and everything else. But
right.
He's eager. He's like, Dad, I know I can beat you in a race. Let's race. I'm like, no, son, let's hold back on that.
Right.
You know, I can still get you, but so he's got a lot of energy. He's a good kid. And then my youngest, Kellen, he just started 1st grade.
Okay.
And he's so he did basketball camp last week, and he's been begging me to do all the other stuff. So we're probably going to get him into karate, and we go to Top Golf, a little golf driving range thing. And he's got him and Devin both have a perfect swing. So I may be getting them into some golf camps and those kind of things. So see how that turns out.
Oh, cool. Now have you taken the family back up to East Lansing, or any of them been up there, or no?
No, we just got back from a 12-day trip to Minnesota. So a couple of family reunions. So the kids, you know, saw a lot of distant cousins and things of that nature. And during that trip, they were like, yeah, can we go to Michigan State next year? Can we go to East Lansing next year? So that's on the radar. We're looking at probably doing that next year, taking the whole family up there, maybe for a game and hang out and see the campus and go through all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so you made sure you took them to Minnesota, not in the winter, huh?
Yeah. Well, my youngest was like, "Is there gonna be snow up there? I want to see snow." I'm like, "No, son, there's no snow right now, but hey, and people up there are happy there's no snow." Well, I want to see snow, so yeah, we'll have to do that trip. My wife doesn't want to. She's from Orlando, so she's not a snow person at all. So
right.
We'll have to figure that out.
Now on you now, what type of work you doing, man? We got to talk about the main business first, and then we're gonna get into some of them hustles that you got going on. But what type of work are you doing now?
Well, it's when I got out here, I started doing mortgages because it was easy to pick it up, right? So I did that for a little while, you know, made some money there, but ended up wanting to get back into my major, exercise phys pre-meds, and so I started looking around. Ended up taking an EMT class. The guy that was teaching the class was a firefighter. He told me about that. I said, okay, I never really thought about it. Looked into it, and long story short, I ended up getting hired on the Chandler Fire Department, first shot out. So right now I've been on the Chandler Fire Department for 17 years. as a firefighter, special ops firefighter. So on the fire department, I'm a hazmat tech, technical rescue technician, and I also trained all of the East Valley departments.
No, wait a minute. When you made the point that said you got hired on your first time out, is that uncommon, or is that just don't happen, or what?
Yeah, that's pretty rare. When I was they were hiring 10 people. There was 1,000 people that applied for the job, and I ended up getting third out of my class. Now the two guys that were ahead of me had been testing for 5 years. 4 or 5 years, both of them. They knew a ton about the fire service, everything else. I didn't know anything about service. I was basically coming in raw and had to pick up everything and learn everything as I went.
So getting in, is it like a physical test, or what do y'all have to do to kind of get in? And can you talk about that?
You get your application, you turn that in, then you go do a written test, and then they take the top like 88%. So you got to pass the test with 88% or higher, something of that nature. After that, you go to an interview. Then you go to if you pass that interview, you go to a second interview. Past that second interview, it gets whittled down to a part-time academy. So you meet, and you're still not getting paid or anything. So you meet on Tuesday nights and all days on Saturdays for about a month and a half. Really? So once you get through all that, you go through another interview with chiefs and higher ups and that kind of stuff. And then after that interview, it's if you get hired or not.
So you could go through all that stuff and still don't get the job, man?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I turned everything in. It took almost a year from turning in the application to actually being hired.
Really? Now, what? So besides the written stuff, physically, what do you guys? Is there something that you guys have to do or not?
The written the written test is kind of a basic knowledge test. 2 + 2 and all this kind of stuff. Can you do basic aptitude type things? And then there's a physical agility test, which we call it's a CPAT now. What we did was a little bit different. Running 6 flights of stairs, pulling hose, doing a little obstacle course, those kind of things. And you have to do it dragging a mannequin, 150-pound mannequin, for a certain distance. It's physical agility. Yeah. So I ended up training. You had to do the 1.5-mile run,
Mm-hmm.
So I remembered how to get back in shape for that thing.
Right.
You had to get, you had some physical agility stuff you had to pass before you were able to get, go to the next phase as well. So kept me busy.
And then Todd, so how many years was that after you was done out of college and finished playing? Like, was that like 6, 8?
Well, I got hired in 2000.
Okay.
So 7 years.
Okay, and you still had it in you, huh?
Oh shoot, I still got it in me now. What you talking about?
Hey, I done seen
for a couple minutes.
I done seen some big firefighters. I didn't know if y'all had to stay certified to keep doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we still got to do our little bit of something, But in 2000, I was still playing flag football and things of that nature. Well, shoot, because I've been to World Police Fire Olympics. We're 3-time gold medal winners and that, world champs in the flag football and that kind of thing. So, I pretty much stayed in shape and able to do stuff. But so that's what it took.
All right, and then on you for your I guess I don't even know if you would call it a typical day, but you said you like in a special force, not just a firefighter. You in a different division or?
Yeah, we're special ops firefighters, so we do the hazardous materials. As you might know, Intel is one of their largest campuses. I think there's only 2 campuses that are this big. One here in the United States. This is the largest one in the United States, and then there's another one overseas. So we have a lot of hazardous materials and all the supporting companies surrounding it to help supply Intel with what they need and everything else, or the semiconductor industry. So we have a pretty good hazardous materials response team. So if something happens, chemical releases, spills, anything of that nature, people get trapped or whatever, we're trained to go in, mitigate the hazard, rescue people, those kind of things.
So have you ever had to save somebody's life before, man? Or?
Oh yeah. Part of the job. In 17 years, 17 years. Yeah, we've done quite a bit. I got all kinds of little stories about that.
Yeah. Well, can you share one? I mean, is that just common? Like it ain't. I mean, did the first time it happened, did your training kind of prepare you and you just kind of kicked in, or?
Well, it's really, for me at least, when I get into those type of situations, I really don't think of what actually I'm doing. I kind of go back to my training, and it's just like, okay, these tasks have to get done, just kind of like a football field. You got a specific job, do your job, and things will work out great. So it's, okay, this is what has to get done. This is what needs to be done. So I think about that and what I need to do to get that accomplished. It's afterwards things start to affect you, for me at least.
Right.
Once you sit back and you kind of debrief on what's going on, you might see family members and, how grateful they might be, or if it wasn't a great outcome, if they're sad and everything else, that's when you kind of like get that humanity put back into it. It's like, oh, geez, gosh, that's what we just did, that kind of thing. So,
have you ever been in a situation where you thought you wasn't going to make it out of, or?
No.
Oh.
And that's the thing about the fire department. With our technology and the amount of guys that we have in the valley here, we have what we call mutual aid. So if there's a situation in Chandler, we'll get the closest units. It doesn't have to necessarily be Chandler units.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get units, whatever fire truck or response unit's closest, we'll get called in there. So we'll get hundreds of guys. So our special ops team. And that's what I also do on the fire department. I help train the East Valley and West, basically, in Phoenix fire departments, hazmat teams, so that we're all on the same level and we work well together. So we can have a resource of, hundreds of special ops firefighters to respond and be there. So, it's pretty organized.
Okay. So Todd, are you like the shit as far as a firefighter goes? Or? I mean, are you?
I'm the most senior special ops firefighter and teach the most classes and do the most. So I don't know if I'm the shit, but you sort of like a big deal though, huh? I kind of get it done.
Okay. Now and what about the other stuff that you got going on, man?
Well, I kind of parlayed what I do on the fire department to a little side thing. We used to do inspections and those kind of things and go in these facilities, and I saw some stuff that was lacking in a lot of them, keeping up with extinguisher inspections, sprinkler inspections, their training and CPR, their hazmat response training, those different things, those different areas, seeing violations that needed to be fixed. So I just went to them on the side afterwards and said, hey, you know what, I can come in and make sure that all these things get taken care of for you and get fixed and get done on a timely manner. And I'll be your liaison between these different places, different companies or vendors that you might use. So I got one, got two, got three, ended up building a company off of it and doing well now.
Is that the CPR baby, or that's a different one?
Oh, that's my emergency response consulting and training.
Okay.
So I go out to industry, semiconductor, like Abbott Nutrition's a customer. ASM, they supply Intel with the tools to make semiconductors, to make chips. I mean, I've got the Gilbert Water Treatment Facility. I've got a contract with Tucson, the Pima County wastewater facility. So I do all their confined space analysis, rescue training, and those kind of things. So I've got, Calgon Carbon. I've got multiple companies that I'm contracted with now to supply training. I do, well, that's kind of one side of it or one division of it, and then I also do sprinkler and extinguisher inspections.
So you got employees, or you just dealing with all this stuff?
Well, I do. I hire off-duty firefighters.
Oh, okay.
So I 1099 off-duty firefighters. I've got probably 15 to 20 that work for me and do training classes and that kind of deal. So, yeah. So I stay busy.
Okay.
Managing all that.
All right. Now, real quick, Todd, can you talk about, going back to Kim, your wife, what type of support you get from your wife? Because I can imagine that being on the fire department, you out for some of the holidays, right? Like Christmas, stuff like
huge.
that. So how does that? Yeah. I mean, how do you guys kind of balance that? And I mean, is that a tough part?
That's a great question. That's a great question because I had to do research to make sure to figure it out. You know, the majority of firefighters get divorces, you know, and I didn't want to, if I got married, I didn't want to get a divorce. You know, it's like, hey, if I'm going to take that commitment, then, you know, I want to be there for the long haul. So, you know, and she was the vice president of a commercial real estate company. Well, she left that years ago and started her own. So she owns her own commercial real estate company. So she's, you know, just as busy as I am with stuff. So with the 3 kids, she always says when I go to the fire department, she's a single mom for a third of her life, basically. And she, you know, she is for all intents and purposes. I'm not there for a lot of this stuff, holidays sometimes and things of that nature. And she's a strong woman. She does a great job with the kids, you know, great job with the house, all those kind of things. But we plan it, like this past weekend, we went to Gainey Ranch for the weekend, hired our niece and nephew to watch the kids, and we just got our alone time. So we make a point of it to get away and just me and her reconnect, enjoy each other's company. You know, we sat at the spa or whatever and just enjoy each other's company. So we do that on a regular basis. And I found from just asking others and how did you get through this? How did you do da-da-da? Well, that was the common denominator. We made time for the wife and I to just get away, you know, that kind of thing. So, so that's what we do. You know, that's how we do it. And she gets her alone time with her girlfriend. You know, they'll go on trips and, you know, this kind of thing. And I get my trips, you know, going back up to Michigan State for games. I go to all the bowl games, things of that nature. So we have our alone time, but we also make sure we plan time for each other to get together.
Well, all right, cool. Now going to Michigan State, man. Got to take you back to when you was in high school. What position you play in high school, Todd?
I was in high school. I was a running back.
That's what I thought.
So, yeah, I was a running back. I only played defense 2 games my senior year. The last two games of my high school career.
So when you was getting recruited, what was your final like 2 choices? And was Michigan State recruiting you as a DB or a running back?
Well, I can't remember which podcast it was or who said it, but it was the same thing. I went in, I went with Michigan State, went in with Perlis and, said I wanted a shot at running back. And he's like, all right, you got it. You can do that.
That was Busan that said that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So it was, so I did the, I was like, all right, everybody else wanted to recruit me as a defensive player, not even give me a shot at running back. So that was huge to me at the time, and, let's see, came down to, Minnesota was kind of in the back of my mind always, just because my cousin, he was Jason Bruce. He was a receiver for Minnesota, and he took me on my visit there. They were going into probation because of what Lou Holtz did to the program. Notre Dame was one of the choices, and Michigan State. So those were kind of my final 3 when I was getting recruited.
And then and then Michigan State, you said who was you remember who your host was or?
Yeah, Darren Eaton.
Wow, Darren Eaton. Huh?
Darren Eaton. Yeah, the advantages we had there was Outer Limits was open, and so we just went there. We just hung out and went there, and Big Will was on that out there with me that trip. So we just hung out and had a good time. So
okay,
yeah, that's kind of what sold it.
Yeah. So then came in. So you came in and got an opportunity to try to play running back or what?
Yeah, my freshman year I was strictly running back and then we had some injuries on defense. And, they came to me and said, hey, you got opportunity, to be receiver or play defense. Defense, we need you to be, we need defensive backs. What do you think? I'm like, hey, put me where you need me. It's, I'm fine with it at this point. So I ended up playing defense.
All right. And then when did you finally get on the field, man? What year was it for you?
Ooh, I was my redshirt sophomore year. I was playing special teams and getting some playing. Then I played nickelback my redshirt sophomore year. This is when I really got some decent playing time and that kind of thing regularly.
All right, now you got any stories or whatever about Coach Foligno or GP or?
Well, my favorite. Well, I don't know. Not too many people can stump GP.
Right.
So it was one of those that, after somebody got in trouble for something, right? And he gave him he had to run after practice. And I was just happened to be standing next to him. So he turned and looked at me. He was like, "God damn it, Todd. You think that was fair? You think that shit was fair? You think it's fair that I, have him run or do whatever after crash?" I'm like, and I'm on point right there. Everybody's staring at me, and I'm like, "Oh, geez." So my answer was, I just sheepishly was like, "Most of the time." And then he looks at me. He's like, "God damn it, Murray. One of those smart guys, huh?" Basically looking at it, if I would have said no, they would say, "You're right, so you're on it," or "Yeah," then you're like, "Okay, then you're on it to run." So me coming back with that response, he kind of got stumped on that. So that's one of those little feathers that Coach Perlis, not many people are able to get him to pause like that ever.
Right. Now I asked Thrill, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was surprised, and maybe some people weren't, but have you ever got cussed out by GP or any of the coaches up there, man?
Oh yeah. So it was I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole story of how it happened and everything else, but I ended up having to go to court for some issues or whatever. So that morning I had to go tell GP the whole, said go sit in his office, had a meeting with him, go sit in his office. Yeah, I got talked to pretty sternly. Yeah. He was like, "God damn it, you're supposed to be one of those smart guys. You weren't supposed to be in this office." Blah blah. Yeah. You can go back. You want to hang like Bill Johnson? You can go with Bill Johnson. And all kind. Yeah. So yeah. I got my fair share of reprimands.
All right. So now on there, man, let's talk about the play. Right? Is there the little play in the Notre Dame game, man?
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. That was fun.
So people that don't know, Todd is the player that he dropped back. He was in perfect position. They threw the pass and it hit off your shoulder pad, man. Did you trip?
Yeah.
or
What's that?
I said, did you trip or what happened, man?
No, it was no. So I was dropping back in coverage. I was actually coming underneath a route. So I looked back in, dropped back. I was on the left side, dropped back. I looked back into the inside because the guy was doing maybe like a post corner or something, and I was in cover 3. So I sent him off. He was going to the post. So I kind of turned with him going that way. Well, then he came back to the corner. So as soon as he did that, I started turning my head back towards the quarterback, and I was coming back underneath that route. And then he threw. I saw the ball come, and as soon as I turned my head, the ball was like, I don't know, a yard or so in front of me. And I just got my shoulder up, kind of my right shoulder up to try to catch it and get that. While it hit the shoulder, reflected, he caught it, and the rest is history.
Who caught that pass? Or who was that?
Oh, I don't even remember his name.
Don't remember?
So, yeah, I don't go back to that. Right. I don't go back to that clip very often.
Really? So then on there, do you remember kind of how you dealt with that? I mean, did you you take it hard, or you just kind of was like, we got to move on to the next game, or how did you kind of deal with that?
It was, afterwards, I did my little interviews, so explain what I saw, how it felt, all that kind of thing. Then get home and have death threats on my voicemail. Multiple things of that nature, that kind of stuff. So I ended up having to change the phone number, that kind of stuff. People bringing it up, talking about it, everything, left and right. So yeah, it was difficult to get through.
Yeah, you ain't had no fights or nothing because of that, did you? you ain't knocked
no.
nobody out or nothing, did you?
No, I didn't have to do that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have to do that, but yeah, so it was, to this day I still get, if I, meet them at fire department, and these guys, they don't hold back on anything. So once they found out, oh yeah, I went to Michigan State, then I'm sure they Googled stuff, and then they come back, hey, what's the blah blah blah, like yeah, okay, whatever,
You say you was in the game though, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was there.
Right.
So
all right, so now
I worked through it.
Right. All right, so I got my my Michigan State story, so I'm gonna ask you a question to see if you know the answer. My question is simple. Do you know why I will not drink with you?
Oh shoot, I don't remember I remember what you said before, but I don't remember the night exactly.
So yeah, for those who don't know, when I came up there, Todd was my host, and Todd proceeded. I think I might have been 18 years old, man, and proceeded to take me to some house party. We in the house party, man, and they got a bong filled up with Lord knows what, and he got me drinking out this bong, and that tube was so big, man. And I was so drunk, right? And that was cool. I probably threw up and was drunk, but the thing that I remember the most, man, is you had me out there walking on a frozen pond. Like we walked across a frozen lake.
Remember that.
Yeah, man. And then that wasn't enough. Then we get in the car, and the one thing I remember, man, every time it was a pedestrian trying to cross the street, dude, you was trying to run them over. And you'd be like, they don't have a right of way here in Michigan, and people would be diving off the street on the sidewalk because you were trying to run people over. You don't remember that?
I vaguely remember it.
Man, so to this day, like every year when I see Todd at the bowl game, like one bowl game, I think when the first year we went to Dallas, I hung out with Flo and you guys, and I was faded. I was like, I'm cool. I came to the game with water. Flo walked in with beer and everything. The next year, I purposely booked my ticket to leave because I ain't want to hang out with your ass and you be drinking me under the table or whatever. So that's my and then I think the one bowl game, man, I don't know where we was at the Rose Bowl. You like, hey man, I got a limo. It's gonna pick us up at 6:30 in the morning, and we gonna start. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, that was a good time there too.
Yeah. So
you got to do it right though.
Yeah, man. You go hard, bro. I'll be running from Todd Murray. So on there,
you party hard and work hard. That's still my motto.
Yeah. Now I got it. Like I said, I got a chance to see you at a few of the bowl games. How come it's important for you to stay, connected to the program, and why do you still, go back to games and follow the program so much?
Well, it's I think it's like a responsibility as the Spartan Dawg to keep it alive. I mean, it's family. This is a second family. One of the things that I've seen, and I'm in the middle of doing some research on this now and trying to put some training and stuff together with the fire service. A lot of these kids get into the fire service when they're young, right? They 18, whatever. Same type of thing with the football thing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's all they know. Once they leave the fire department, the statistics say the average firefighter dies about 5 to 6 years after they get out of the fire service. So they got depression, PTSD, they get divorce rates are high. You die after you get out of the department, that kind of stuff. And I wanted to see some change in that. So I looked at it. I'm like, okay, when I got out of football, I still had kind of a football family. I identified as a football player, but then now I went into the fire service. Now I kind of identify as a football player, ex-football player, and a firefighter, that kind of thing. When I get out of the fire service, I can identify as something else. A lot of kids don't have that transition. And I just see that, hey, we have a family in the in the football, Spartan Dogs, that needs to be nurtured, needs to be continued. It's kind of a mindset. We need help. Everybody needs a little bit of help every once in a while at some point in their lives. And I just feel that, hey, I've been able to, bust my rear to get to where I'm at. If I can, I can't do a lot,
Right.
But I will do what I can do. You know what I mean? It's like, if I can offer some advice, if I can talk to you, if I can help you out, if I can give you a phone call, whatever. I just want to be there to do that. I think it's important. Show up at these different things. Say, hey, this is what you guys are on the field for. It's not only just for your sake and a ring and the goodies that you get, that kind of stuff. But it's more than that, and this is who we are, that kind of thing. So that's kind of make a point of it to go and hang out with the guys again, get in touch, and just keep that camaraderie going and show the young guys what it's all about.
Now you had one of the guys I asked a couple of people about, but our teammate or your buddy, y'all really played together, you and Alan.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all still cool, or how's that relationship?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
I got him. I text him anytime I go to anywhere. It's, I shoot him a text. He comes down here, same thing, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we talk. Most definitely. Him, Tony Rollins, William Reese, all those guys.
All right. And then I was going to say, you just stumped me. I forgot. So Bill
real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, when I was sitting there talking about it, you asked about a story about Michigan State. And so when we went to the Aloha Bowl, so the Aloha Bowl, you get your little stuff, you get your little money and everything else. So we went out, me and Alan were roommates. We ended up going. I don't know where we met these girls and stuff, but and curfew. Can't have nobody in your room and all this other stuff, right?
Right.
So one night we brought them back. We had them hit on the balcony. And we're like, all right, we're in bed. Da 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 da. Jeff Monroe comes in to check on the rooms. They found them, kicked them out. We ended up having to do our 1080s after practice. We had to do our sprints. So the next night we were like, all right, we got this down. So we got some other girls. We brought them back to the thing. We're like, all right, you guys hide on the stairs. And then, that's another story too. Anyway, you guys hide on the stairs. And after thing, we'll come get you and bring you back in the room. Well, next thing you know, Monroe knocks on our door. Yeah, we found him sitting on the stairs. you got friends tomorrow. So, yeah, we kept trying, but we were never successful with that.
Man, y'all hard-headed, man. That's a good story. I ain't never knew Alan to break a rule, man, so that's insightful.
He might not want me to tell you that one, but oh well.
All right, now on you, Todd. So you in Arizona, there seems that y'all got a decent group amount of, Michigan State people in Arizona.
We're near Payton's out here, Bill Johnson, Eric Hamilton. I mean, there's several guys out here that. And we get to, I threw a Notre Dame game was it Notre Dame or? I think it was a Notre Dame game. We threw the Arizona Spartans, so I reserved a couple of tables and everybody got together. We had a great turnout, that kind of thing. And I'm planning on doing another one this year. Actually, the president of the AZ Spartans contacted me, asked if the Spartan Dogs would be coming to some of the game watches. So yeah, I try to help coordinate some of these things and get us together in a little group and bring family kind of stuff, little events.
All right, and then last thing, you kind of touched on it, but I like to specifically ask this question. Spartan Dawg, man, what when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think it's family. It's camaraderie, brotherhood. It's a fraternity. I feel like it's a fraternity. We're putting those infrastructures and everything together, to reflect that. And it's basically a rock. Really, we all know we can turn to a Spartan Dawg and for help if we need it. We'll do what we can to get there and help you. And that's not you just don't get that anywhere. And a lot of people don't have that type of thing. So it's something to be cherished. So I respect every Spartan Dawg in the organization, and you know, it's an awesome organization being part of the Spartan Dogs.
All right, and then for you, Todd, where can people get information or follow you if you on social media?
Ooh, I got I got all kinds of good stuff, and we didn't even touch on CPR, baby. My infant bodysuits that I designed for with CPR instructions and things of that nature. So there's so that's one look at CPRbaby.com. My training company is CPRtrainingarizona.com. My personal email is erct@msn.com. I have Facebook. I think I'm friends with a lot of the guys on Facebook. And then I have the Instagram. I don't touch it much. The Instagram, Twitter, you know, those kind of things. Pinterest, all that with the CPR baby stuff.
All right, and then last thing, Todd, what game are you going back? I think you said you and Will, or you and Reese? Who's going back?
Me and Reese. Yeah, me, Reese, Andy Rovis. We're going back to the Western game.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going back to the whiteout game.
Right.
Western. September 9th, I think that is. So, yeah, we're headed back for that game. And then I'll probably pick up another one towards the end of the season or something of that nature.
Okay.
And then definitely the bowl game when we go.
Hey, man, we got to get the one this year, bro. I missed my vacation last year, man. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you and me both.
Right.
You and me both.
Okay. All right. Well, Todd, I appreciate the time, man. And we'll
thank
get
you.
this
I appreciate
posted.
being on here.
Okay. All right. We'll talk.
All right, brother.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Right.
Peace.